Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's August 22nd. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And here's a look at our daily chart. You can see we did turn back down today, closed on a very low, so we could be heading lower again here. We'll have to see what the day brings. I never have drawn there should be a channel here most likely. Seems to fit the best. It looks like this channel is still in play, and maybe we just confirmed it. Well, actually, I take that back. We would have confirmed it here with the third touch, and we just got followed through selling again after coming back to the trend line. So we'll leave that there for now. We'll see what that brings. But it looks like we're probably going to push lower here. We could start lower and then reverse out of here, but we're basically have been working on two legs down for sure, it looks like. Let's just measure these. I'm going to say right there's a couple of legs in that first leg, and you can see we've already got two measured legs down, so it's a little difficult to say. We'll see what happens. Looks like we're at least going to try to retest these lows again, or make an attempt at it. That's the way it looks as of today. So we'll see what happens, but let's flip over to the 2,000 tick intraday chart, and you can kind of see how the day looks overall. Looks very similar. So what it looked like was going to start out is maybe a range day, ends up being a big spike and channel down. So, but let's flip over and take a look. And you can see here we rallied real strongly during the overnight, and then just prior to the regular session open, which is where it turns white, we turned down here, and then it was all downhill from there. It looked like we might find some support here, but no, we pushed on lower and then just continued to trend. So this is like a spike and channel down. It's a spike and smaller channel that leads into a wider channel is really what happens. The sell-off accelerated down here somewhat, and we closed pretty close to being on the lows, so not much to get too bullish about just yet. So anyway, let's zoom in here. We'll go through the trades and we'll wrap the day up. But 7 o'clock came as we're coming up through here, and you've already had a break and you're moving to a new high, and then you make this lower high here. Actually, you made a little bit higher high. It's basically a double top. Nice bearish bar with plenty of room back to the EMA. Take that trade. And then we attempt to go higher once. Twice was a failed second entry long there, but there's also a first entry, second entry. If it was just a second entry, I'd probably say hold on this one because there's not much room to the lows. But the fact that it's a failure too, I like going short there. It took a minute, but it works on down. There's a lower high here, but you wouldn't want to go short into that support when it just bounced there. And we just kind of chug along here, but notice you make a new low and you get a first entry, second entry. This one's a possibility. There's not a lot of room back to the lows here. What you might do is let that break lower and then drop a limit order a little higher, and you could have easily gotten in way back up here and then given yourself enough room and then let it go. That's probably about the only way I'd play that because it just looks a little congested with some support across there. If you draw your line, you can probably see it a little better. But you can see that support across there. That's just dangerous going short into that. So maybe you just skip that one. It's a possibility. It turns out you get a little breakout pullback short here, but you don't want to take that. And then this would be a failure, but it's not back to the EMA. It's right. It looks like this is the lower end of the trend channel at that point, but it turns out to be double, just the midline because the other side's over here. So I didn't draw the channel, but there is a channel here. You can see that there. And prices break out, move to a new low, and then head higher. And I don't see anything. There's a failed second entry short here, but we're in a downtrend. The EMA is pointing down. I'd be waiting for the short, which comes right here. That's a great place to go short. Unfortunately, you probably don't get a runner on that because it comes back before it goes lower, but that's the way it works sometimes. So this is a little spike and channel down. And then we still didn't even get any rejection here. It takes a minute before we run back up to the other side. So I wouldn't be looking to buy anything in here. This one is very tempting to sell. I didn't mark it, but it's a first entry, second entry, third entry. Actually, it's First entry. Actually, I don't think it breaks lower there. I think it is a second entry. You could take that trade. I should at least be green. I don't know how I overlooked that trade. But that could at least be green there. So, I mean, it's right at the key entry point. It's a relative bearish bar, and you could call that a second entry. Really, that looks like a leg up first entry, and then a second entry, although it looks like a two legs from here too, but that would just be kind of what I would call a hidden second entry. So you got a second entry either way. So that's, I don't see any reason you can't take that trade. I must have been stepped away from my desk or something, because I don't know how I missed that trade. Can't ask for a much better setup than that, honestly, because you got the close outside, the new high. There's clearly two legs there, and there's clearly a couple of legs. So anyway, we drop back down. We bounce at the support. There's a triple support there, triple test, fairly bullish bar, a little ways away from the EMA. I'm not crazy about taking these in a strong downtrend like that, because that's a fairly strong downtrend. But maybe you take that just to ride it back to the EMA, see what it gives you. I mean, maybe you get lucky and catch a bottom. Then it runs up here and it makes a triple test. This does make a new high, but with that trend line right there and everything holding, even the green one holding just below the trend line with the bearish bar, I like going short there. And there is a new low, so there's also a little hidden second entry in there. If you don't know what that means, don't worry too much about it. It's a little more advanced. And generally, I don't draw this trend channel on the retest, because this is the first break of this khaki channel here, so this would be the retest attempt. And normally I don't draw those out because you got to be real careful going short on them anyway. I just don't see anything down through there that would tempt me to go short. And of course we bounce out of here. It looks like we're going to get a reversal, but we don't. And then you make another new low and you get a first entry, second entry. So there's your failure and your reversal right at the midline. That's a great place to go long. You can see that's a nice move up. This is all played out over here. This one's played out, and now this one's in play. You can clearly see that trend line working up through there. I marked this one green because it is a first entry, second entry, but you'd have to enter this on the engulfing bar right into those highs across there. I'm a little wary of entering right there, but it's a possibility. If you're going to enter this one, the way I would say enter it would be when it breaks lower and fails and comes out the upper side above that little 2-bar matching eye. If it jumps above that, you'll probably get a scalp, and that's probably how I would enter it on the engulfing bar. And just remember, until that engulfing bar closes, your safety stop has to go below the previous swing, which would be here, and then as soon as that closes, move it up to there. A lot of times people will leave their stop right there, and it'll come back. It'll go back and forth a few times, and they'll get stopped out before the bar finishes closing. So you always have to remember your safety stop goes below the previous swing low or high if you're going short. But that turns out to be a really nice move up. We tried to go long there 3 times. You could call that a triple test, really, because it makes a 2-bar matching eye, but it's really close to the EMA. We didn't quite get to the trend channel line up here, so I'd skip that one. Just kind of wait. There is a second entry long there that's probably going to carry you back up. But this is a downtrend, so don't be trying to you got to have something really good, and I just don't think that's what you're looking for there. But notice then you start chopping along. You get a triple test here, but the signal bar is green. Then the one after it, you got to go short right into the support there, and you don't want to do that. So you just kind of have to sit tight, and then notice it does make a double top up here, and it tries to go higher once, twice. So that's a failure, and it's also a first entry, second entry. So we saw that one over here somewhere else. It was just like that. Can't remember where it was. I think it's right here. And then there was another one right in here somewhere. There was a couple of these. So by that time, I liked entering there. If it wasn't for all that support right across there, which there may be room to get out by there, I'd almost make that red, but it's just really pushing it. You can see there's not quite enough room there. So, but I still like considering that one, at least making it green. And that turns out to be a really great move. And where does it bounce? It bounces a perfect measured move, so you know that's your midline. It bounces. There's a failure here, but on the wrong side of the EMA. It does come back here and gives you a higher low, but I don't think you want to go long there either. We just keep chopping up. You get a closeout, you get an overshoot here, and then it bounces early and turns down right off that key entry point with another bearish bar way away from the EMA. I like taking that trade. It actually breaks higher and turns down. I like entering on the engulfing bar. I might wait on that to close, but I think you could trade that one just like it is. That turns out to be a really nice move. And notice that's a new high, and so there's this is actually, even though this just makes a newer low, that's still a two-legged move back to the EMA, and this actually breaks higher and fails and turns down, so you get another engulfing bar. And we just came off the lows, so we're expecting prices to, or the highs, so we're expecting prices to go to the lows, and so there's a good chance we could keep pushing lower here. So I like going short on that. It's just the first entry technically, but it's still two legs back with a very bearish bar, and it was an engulfing bar as well. There's a lower high here. I didn't mark it because you have to go short right into some support across there. So I'm a little hesitant. We did push through right here, but still there's not any room between. I mean, it basically makes a double bottom. It would have worked, but you just really don't want to risk that. And then of course we bounce out of there. You might argue that there's a reversal here, but we didn't get to the lows yet, so I'm wary of, and that looks really congested right below the midline. Not a great place to enter. Really, you want to probably see that push through and pull back and test the midline and then go higher before you get long that close to the midline. So we're really, prices are just kind of stuck between the 21 EMA and the midline there, and they end up going lower from there. So of course the market's closed now, open back up in about 40 minutes. It looks like it's about 4:20 here, but I just think it's too late in the afternoon to be entering any of that. So that's pretty much how I saw it. It's downhill most of the day, really. Really from when we come in, it looked really bullish when you first sit down at 7 o'clock, but from there it just got really bearish. So maybe the sellers are coming back in. We'll see what happens. So anyway, not much else I can say about today, so I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.